Clifton James, thank you very much for joining us. And I'm really I'm eager to talk to you, and I'm grateful for this opportunity because you grew up right by, very close to Jonestown and right by the airstrip there at
Yes,
Port Kaituma. And you've made a
yes,
couple videos. You made the videos, I believe, on both of them on November 18th, and which is the anniversary. That's the date of the murder suicide in Jonestown. And so those videos caught my attention.
yeah.
So I'm eager to hear what you remember, and I really appreciate you taking the time. Do you remember? Let's just start with this. How old were you in 1978 when the tragedy at Jonestown unraveled?
I was 10,
10 years
10
old.
years old. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And how long had you lived at Port Kaituma since your birth, or?
Yes, yes. I born at Mabruma, but I grew up at Kaituma. I grew
Okay.
up in Kaituma. I go to school in Kaituma,
Yeah.
and
Wow.
so I left Kaituma when I was like 16 years old. Start traveling.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
What was Port Kaituma like at the time of the Jonestown tragedy? I mean, how many people lived in that area? You mentioned school. Just can you basically describe it for us? What was it like at that time?
Well, it was a very small village. It didn't have much people, maybe about a couple of hundreds of people, not much.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
why
it was a very
was
small settlement
very
at
small?
that time. Yeah.
Yeah. And why were you there? I mean, somebody must have had a job there or something, or what was it that brought your family to Port Kaituma?
Well, my mother, she got uh, had a relationship with my stepfather, and he was a railroad foreman up there.
Right.
So she went. So she started living with him there, and I was with my grandmother in Port Kaituma River, and then they took me to Port Kaituma to my mother. Then I
Okay.
was 6 years old.
When you were 6. So that's what
Yeah.
that's what brought you there. And on one of the videos, you tell a story about your would just refer to him as your father, your dad, who you mentioned him and the suitcases, and we
Yes.
can talk
Yes.
about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
What,
Well,
yeah, we'll get to that. What is your very first memory of Jonestown? You of course visited Jonestown just a week before the tragedy. You actually saw what
yeah.
happened on the airport. But what are the
Yes.
first memories you have of Jonestown, even maybe even before actually visiting the place? Just your first memories of knowing that there are a bunch of Americans who live in this area. Just what are the very first things you remember about it?
Well, the first thing that I remember about the people, well, we used to call it People's Temple.
Right, yeah.
People's Temple. So when they came into Port Kaituma, they were living in Port Kaituma itself at a place, Pittsburgh. There's a place called the Range, Back Range. So they were staying there in those ranges. So some of the children from the People's Temple who lived there used to come to the school, Port Kaituma School, primary school. I remember Tom and Jim. That was Jim Jones' two sons who used to attend the school, our school,
Wow.
and some other guys. Also, they were bigger, but they also used to attend the school too.
Yeah. So this was while they were building the agricultural
Jonestown,
project there, yeah.
yeah. While
Um,
they were preparing Jonestown, they were living in Port Kaituma.
wow. How did
Yeah.
the American kids get along with the Guyanese kids?
They were strange. They were strange to us because I remember Tom and Jim the two of them used to ramp like fighting with each other. Not just fight, but just like playing, rolling up in the grass and these kind of stuff, you know. And it
Yeah.
was strange to us because they were rough. They were rough. They were like tough more than us. So we used to just
Oh,
look at them and see they rolling up in the grass. And we used to laugh because if we roll up in the grass, our skin was scratched, you know. We will be scratching and this stuff. But they just enjoy that.
yeah. Did you
Yeah.
interact personally with Jim Jones's sons?
Well, we used to like talk and but not really anything, any kind of really friendship, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Now I know you were a little kid, so you're not
yeah,
asking a lot of questions probably, but
yeah,
did you have
yeah.
any idea what the agricultural project was all about? I mean, like, do you remember hearing anybody talk about, why are all these Americans living, 6 miles from here? Do you remember anything like that? Like, what are they doing here?
Well, they were cultivating in Jonestown
Yeah.
because even before I go into Jonestown, they used to come out. They used to come on the tractor with the same tractor trailer, and they used to drive around and they used to sell like chicken. They used to sell greens, and they used to give away rice. I used to go and collect rice from the trailer. When the tractor drive around, we used to go with our bag and collect rice from them. They didn't used to charge us for the rice. And sometimes I used to go, take a bag full, go home, and go through another route and collect another bag. I remember doing that.
Taking advantage of their generosity. So these are folks from Jonestown coming out giving rice to the locals.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. And you also
yeah,
mentioned
yeah.
it in
They
one
used to
of
do
your
that.
yeah. And you mentioned in
Yeah.
one of your videos that, if I heard you correctly, that people from Port Kaituma would go to Jonestown to see the doctor.
Yes, yes. That's how I ended up going to Jonestown.
Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
the tragedy takes place on a Saturday. You go the
Yes.
previous Sunday. Was that your actual first time you ever visited Jonestown?
Very first time. Yeah.
Wow, just a week
Yeah.
before. So we'll talk about that. So I'm just interested in this though. These folks from Jonestown would come into Port Kaituma like once a week maybe or something, and they would give out food and
They would give out rice, but they would also sell the greens, you know, cabbage and this kind of thing. They would sell, yeah.
they would sell
But
that.
very cheap. Yeah, very cheap.
They'd give the
But it
rice
was
but
cheap.
sell some of the
Yeah.
vegetables. Yeah,
Yeah. But very cheap. It was very cheap.
yeah. Well, let's go to that Sunday before. So you go into Jonestown on the Sunday before. What brought you there?
Well, my friend, his mother, she was going to see the doctor in Jonestown.
Yeah.
So he told me that he was going with his mother. So I went and asked my mother if I could go. So she said, okay, it's no problem. So I went with him and his mother.
What was your first impression of Jonestown when you either got there or got close to it?
Well, the first, when we get on the truck, they drive to the entrance of Jonestown, which is just about 2 miles and something from Port Kaituma. And when we reached the entrance, there was a security checkpoint there. And we stopped there for at least about 10 minutes or maybe more. But we did stop at the checkpoint until permission was granted for us to go.
Now, were the People's Temple people at the checkpoint, were they armed? Do you
No,
remember? Did
I
they have
can't
weapons?
remember seeing, no, no, I didn't remember or seeing them armed or anything because it
Oh,
was in a little hut, you know, at the
yeah,
point, at the checkpoint.
yeah.
They were talking and then eventually they give orders to go.
They let you in. And
Yeah.
how many were in the truck? How many people were in the truck?
All we had it was like about 15 to 20 persons.
Wow.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
of those, how many were going to see the doctor?
Well, I remember just maybe there were more who went to see the doctor, but I know for sure my friend mother was going to see the doctor.
Yeah. Okay, so you
Yeah.
get through the checkpoint and just walk us through it. What are the next things you see as you make your way in?
Wow, it was very, very beautiful. It was well
Wow.
cultivated as we were driving going into Jonestown. Both sides of the road was well cultivated with banana trees and fruit trees and cassava. And there was before you reach into Jones, there was a place they call Piggery. That's how they call it. I don't know if it's a real name, but Piggery is between is between Jonestown and the entrance. There is a place there they used to maybe I don't know exactly what they used to be doing there, but there was a big area. Oh, there were animals there.
Yeah.
Animals, yes. In that area they call
Raising,
it Piggery.
yeah, raising
Yeah,
pigs, I think. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So we passed there, but it was both sides of the road was very clean, and people was working along this road, cleaning the sides of the road between the plantation, cassava or whatever they had there.
Yeah.
Because I saw these people that came out, a lot of them, on the roadside.
Yeah. And and and
Yeah.
and what was the impression it made on you as you were seeing this?
Yeah, I said, well, I feel good because it was the very first time going into Jonestown. I said, wow, this place is beautiful. And
Wow.
then when we really enter to go in, take a turn to go directly into the city, the village, it was like a paradise because on the left hand, going in on the left, it was well cultivated. This is where they had all the vegetation, vegetables planted like cabbage. And you could see the beauty of it. So I said, wow, this place is like a paradise. It's
Wow.
beautiful, was really beautiful. Yeah, clean.
Yeah.
It was nice. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you because like as people will hear Jonestown described, they'll hear about the small cottages where, multiple people live in the small cottages, that kind of thing. But compared to, say, how folks lived, outside of Jonestown, for folks growing up living in Port Kaituma, did Jonestown
Yeah.
would living in Jonestown have seemed like, stepping into a more peaceful, a more prosperous kind of place?
Yeah, because it was organized. They had things in place. It was well organized.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were not shabby, here, there, and things. No, it was organized, well set.
Wow. What are
They had
some
a
of the
good
other,
setting.
yeah. What are some of the other memories you have just as you were there for a couple hours maybe?
Yes, for a couple hours because when we reached directly to the area where the truck stopped us off, I remember there was a long building on the right, flat long building with bananas, ripe bananas. The bunch of bananas they were hanging there. And then right in front there was the big pen that we call Mugs. Mugs was there. We
Oh,
used
the
to call him Mugs,
chimpanzee.
the ape. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
chimpanzee, yeah. He had
yeah.
a big pen right there. So we stopped right there and we came out and there was a rocker where you could sit down and you could rock with the chair and maybe you used to go and play there. But the first excitement was Mugs for us, the chimpanzee. So as we
Yeah,
came out of the truck, we ran to the fence where they had a fence right way around him.
yeah.
He was there and the first thing he did was fill his mouth with water and he spewed on us. He wet us up. Yeah, so we was like,
Wow.
wow, that was fun for us.
Sure.
But we didn't spend long there. Then they told us to go into the pavilion. So It was like paradise. While we was walking from there to the pavilion, is maybe is where they keep the church, where they assembly together.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. While going there, there's a catwalk. Was a catwalk. There were monkey and parrot and maca on stands there as you enter in going into to
The pavilion.
the pavilion. Yeah.
Wow.
It was like paradise, you know. I
Wow.
remember, I recall seeing a young girl walking with an unseater, a very big unseater. And that
Oh,
was the
an
first time
anteater.
I saw, yeah, that's the first time I saw one of them, a very big
Wow.
one. Yeah. She had
When,
it like a dog walking with it.
wow.
Yeah.
When it's hard to imagine. I mean, the place you're describing sounds so cool. It's hard
Yeah,
to
it
imagine
was,
this,
yeah,
what happened 6 days later.
yeah.
Do you remember when you were there? Did you interact at all with the kids living in Jonestown?
No, we didn't talk to the Americans because they had school going on the opposite, right next to the auditorium,
Oh, yeah.
right where they keep their church, the assembly together. Right over on that side, they had the school.
Yeah.
So the school was in progress there because children were there over that way, over in there. So we were sitting in the church, in the building, and behind us they had about 15 to 20 women. They were sewing all day long there. They were sewing.
Just
And
making
then,
clothes or something.
yeah. So in front now, there was a stage, and then some guys came and they start playing the instruments. They start playing music while we were sitting there.
Were they practicing or something?
Maybe they was doing some songs, they were singing, and we
Do
were
you,
there sitting.
yeah. Do you remember what kind of music it was?
I, I just can't remember, but they were playing maybe it was no, definitely I couldn't remember exactly what it was,
Yeah.
but I know they were playing.
Sure.
But
Wow.
while we were sitting there, the ladies that went to see the doctor, they went their way to see the doctor and they leave us there, not to move, not to go anywhere. Because we were small, so they tell us to stay right there, right? And I saw one of our friends who died in there. He was from Port Kaituma. His name was Derek.
Derek.
While, yeah, while we were sitting there, he came and we talked with him and asked him how things here, and he was saying, yes, everything is good. And so we get all excited and we want to come in to live in Jonestown also.
Wow. So
Yeah.
now Derek, he didn't survive.
No, he died.
Derek, he
He died in
died
there.
on that Saturday.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, your feeling after spending a couple hours in Jonestown is that you wanted to live there yourself.
Yeah, because, we feel, wow, this place is so nice. And we want to go and live in Jonestown too.
Wow.
Because the whole week that when we went home back, the whole week we were start in school was Jonestown. That was our topic, Jonestown. And we want to go back this Sunday coming. We're planning how we could go back into Jonestown this Sunday coming.
Wow. Well, let's go to the next weekend then. So through the week, so you visit on Sunday.
Yeah.
And then you've got the week, and you're talking about Jonestown and remembering it, and what a great place, and hoping to go back. So then let's come to Saturday. What
Yeah.
are the following Saturday, which is the day of the tragedy, and you live very, very close to the airstrip where Congressman Ryan and others
Yeah,
were
very
killed. Is
close.
that right? Yeah. And Port Kaituma, the
Yeah.
airstrip is about how far from Jonestown?
It's about 6 miles,
Okay. Yeah.
6.5 miles, somewhere like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
from the airport.
Yeah. Well, take us to November 18th then. What are the very first things you remember about that day?
Well, that day was a very excited day for us because when there's no other activities really in Port Kaituma, more excited for us in those days when a plane land in Port Kaituma
Mm.
or a ship coming to Port Kaituma. That was the one thing because Port Kaituma is a jungle and we don't have no, you know, when you see these things, you just want to be there.
Mm.
So Guyana Airways came in and we went on the airport and it's about 11 to 30 to 12 o'clock, somewhere around there. The truck from Jonestown came out with a lot of people on the truck. And so they drive on the airport. Everybody get off the truck, and there was a little hut there on the airport. So
Mm.
everybody pack up their stuff right near the plane, and everybody was there waiting all the time. And they were talking and laughing and
Mm.
yeah.
About
Even I
about
remember.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
go ahead. Go
Okay.
ahead. Oh,
Yeah.
I was going to ask about how many people were in that group that came out of Jonestown. Just guessing.
Yeah. There was about 20, 25, 30, somewhere around there. There was a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And did you get close to that group?
Yeah, I was there. I was there talking. We were not me alone, but my friends, we were there along with them. I recall talking with the cameraman. There was a reporter with the man with the camera,
Yeah.
right? And he was making joke with us, talking with us, and he was showing us his muscles and these kind of thing. Yeah. I remember talking. He was the only one really speak with us.
Wow.
And he was making fun. And after that, this man, when I watched this man on the ground, his face was so smashed in. It was terrible.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
come back to that. You talk about that. So your impression, again, you're a little kid, so you're not picking things, you're not picking up a lot of things, but your impression
No,
wasn't that these people were afraid or that they were stressed out. That wasn't what you picked up from them.
no, no. I didn't pick up anything like, suspect of anything that was happening, you know,
Yeah,
because I was too small to understand
sure.
their
Yeah,
emotions. But some of them were kind of, you know,
yeah.
didn't really speak in much. They were just moving around.
Mm.
Like I said, he was the only one who was trying maybe to make himself, and talk with us.
The cameraman.
Yeah, the cameraman.
Now,
I don't know his name. Huh?
he wasn't filming, was he? Was he filming at that time?
No, at the time when he was talking with us, he wasn't filming.
Yeah. Now, in one of the statements you made, one of the videos you made, you said that that this group was sitting on the airstrip, or that they were waiting on the airstrip for like 3 hours or something. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah, they were there waiting for some hours. They was waiting there. I don't know the reason why until the tractor trailer came.
Yeah. Okay. So
If
let's.
they had taken off, yeah,
No, they're waiting for 3 hours, and of course, in
yeah,
that time, the trailer that you're referring to comes up. The tractor trailer comes up.
yeah.
Now, I mean, walk us through that, because if I remember correctly, you actually before, if that trailer came up, you would maybe jump on it or something like that, or?
Yes, yes. I went home. I get thirsty and I went home. And from home, coming back, I saw the tractor trailer coming and taking the turn to go to the airport. Normally, when we see them, we would run and jump on the trailer because that's our normal thing that we used to do. So when I saw the trailer and they took a turn, they was driving slow. So I go to jump on the trailer. And the guys that was behind, two were sitting one side and two was on the other side. And there was a box like a coffin with a white cloth thrown over it. So when I go to jump on the trailer, the guy said, no, not today. All Guyanese clear the airport. All Guyanese clear the airport. And they start shouting from there as they go in, all Guyanese clear the airport. All Guyanese clear the airport. Well, I start walking, continue walking behind them, like 20 feet behind. Because they was driving very slow. So I was keep walking behind them all the time. While they were shouting, all Guyanese clear the airport. All Guyanese clear the airport. So they drive on the airport until they reach right in front Guyana Airways, where all the people were gathered.
Right in front of the plane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was when I saw the guy stand up with a gun. The first guy get up with a gun and start firing. And I was like, I stopped there. I can't move. I don't know what was happening, but I was just watching the scene.
Now,
as the gun was firing.
Yeah. Were the guys with the guns, were they laying down in the back of the truck?
No, they were sitting, but when they reach in front of the truck, in front of the plane, they get up with this gun. From the backs that was in the trailer, guns was in there. So they picked up gun and they start shooting.
And you saw that?
Yeah, I was there standing. And right behind the trailer, I was there standing, seeing all of this happening. People began to run, screaming, shouting. People just running like crazy all over the place while they were shooting. I remained standing there, watching what was happening. And then after they continue to drive and go right around and then take a turn and come up back towards me. I was still standing in the same position.
Yeah.
The tractor trailer stopped. The tractor trailer stopped and a guy jumped off the trailer, went to a body and make sure the person was dead, tried to check the person, see if the person is dead, and then he jumped on back on the trailer, and then they start driving towards me and start shooting also. So I ran off the airport. Then I ran. Then I ran off to the corner of the airport.
Yeah. Did you
allow and give them place to pass?
Did you feel that they were shooting at you?
No, well, at the moment after the shooting, then I get like, I don't know what happened. Like I get conscious about what is happening. And then I decided to run and give them place to pass.
Yeah.
So after they passed me, I came out back.
You went back to the plane?
Well, I didn't went direct to the plane. After they passed me, I started going behind the trailer again. I continued walking by the trailer. As they shooting going back, there was a small plane behind me, a one-engine plane at the back. So they were shooting at that plane going back out of the airport. Sorry. There was an African American girl. They tried to kill her. They keep driving behind her down into a banana bush off right where we used to play football there. So she was in a small plane somewhere behind there. and she gets shot 2 times in her back while running, going down there in the bush. And so they were driving behind her to go in the bush behind her, but after they saw there were like 5 soldiers, Guyana soldiers on the airport there, and somehow they stopped and they turn back and they drive and goes back to Jonestown.
So there were, yeah, you said that there were some Guyanese Defense Force soldiers there, but what did
Yeah.
they do? What do you remember? Did you see at all what their response was?
No, no, but they didn't do anything because they were there on the airport.
They didn't do anything.
They were there. No, they didn't try to stop them or anything. I don't know the reason why, because they drive back towards where the soldiers was, because there was a Guyana Defense Force plane that the front wheel had smashed in on the airport. So they came in. These soldiers came in to fix that problem. So they were camping right there on the airport when that tractor trailer passed by there.
Wow. You said you saw one of the guys jump out of the truck and check to see if someone on the ground was dead. Did you see them actually shoot people at close range who were on the ground?
No, he did. No, he did not shoot. He just checked the person.
Okay.
He went to the body to see if maybe to see if the person is dead or not.
Yeah.
But to him, maybe the person was dead, so he just jumped back on the trailer and he go.
Now you did go back to the plane where the bodies were, right? The bodies were around the plane?
Yes, after after the trailer leave, they went and take out the girl that gets shot, the African girl, American girl. They bring her out and they put her to lie there right in front of my mother's house. We had a house right there on the airport. And my grandmother used to be in the house. So I used to stay there with my grandmother. So right in front of her entrance, they put her there. And then we start inspecting all the bodies. We went back to the Guyana Airways, where all the body was there, and we start looking at the bodies there.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's when you saw that this reporter who had been goofing around with you a little bit before, that's when you saw that he
his brains was like 6 feet away from his body. So I was thinking how possible that happened, I was thinking maybe the tractor trailer, after driving around this side of the side where his body was, maybe the tractor trailer run over his head and pop his brains out, maybe. But his head was so flat that I suggest, at that time I didn't know. But to me, at this time when I'm thinking how his head was so flat, maybe the tractor trailer had run over his head.
Wow.
And,
Do you remember?
and pop his brains out.
Yeah. Do you remember how many bodies there were around the plane?
There were like five bodies there. The cameraman, and I remember about 3 other men was right in front, and a girl, a lady or a girl, was right at the step. She got shot right at the step going up, so in the plane. So her body was right there lying.
Yeah.
And there was a guy who came to cover her body with a sheet. I remember this very clear. He had on no shirt, and so he bent down, take out some stuff, a sheet, and cover her body. And while he bent down, he had a pistol in his waist, a small gun. And another guy with a red and white striped jersey take the gun out of the waist and went down the road. And he went trying to get some locals to get him out of this place. And he was cussing. He was saying the F word. No, get me out of this place. And the soldier, then one of the soldiers went to him and talked with him and so get him to quiet down and told him to get out of this place.
To get out of that place. Did the
Yeah, he want to get out.
yeah, what so the soldiers, the Guyanese soldiers did not respond to the shooting. What did they do? What did they do, say, after the truck left, after the trailer left? Did the Guyanese
Well,
soldiers?
after the day left, they start to walk around and see what was happening, you know, and try to get people because there were a lot of injured people on the airport. Besides the dead people, there were a lot of people who got shot and was injured. So they were trying to get them and help whatever help they could do, maybe.
Yeah.
But I was busy just looking around from where, from the where all these bodies and people were crying. There was some woman in the bush corner who got shot a couple times. She was there, and people was there trying to help her out. So I was busy looking. I remember there was a young girl. She was running up and down and screaming and screaming and just screaming, and then she disappeared.
Was she
And
American or
about
Guyanese?
no, huh?
Was she
She was
American
American,
or Guyanese?
white, yeah, American.
Yeah.
She disappeared from there, but then it was like that was Saturday night, Sunday, and about the Monday morning, um, I saw the little girl again. She with two teenagers, a boy and a girl. They went into the bush and they get rescued after about 2 days. But she was with them, the
Yeah.
little girl.
So did the people from Port Kaituma then come out to the airstrip and start helping the wounded people? I'm interested. It's an it's an hour after the fact then. So what's happening on the airstrip now? After say an hour.
Yeah, well, there were people there who helped them out, big people. And but some of the people get scared and start leaving their houses and running for their lives because they were thinking that maybe these people come back and start killing us out. So while some people were still on the airport,
Yeah.
there was a man also who he was walking and saying, "I got shot in my ass. I got shot in my ass." You know, I remember him very clearly because people were laughing at it. Become a joke after a time because he was just saying, "I got shot in my ass," and he was walking all around the place, you know, trying to help. So yeah,
Wow.
yeah. If
How
he's
long?
alive, he will record.
Yeah, he'll remember that.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me
Yeah,
still? How long was
yeah, I'm
it?
hearing you.
How long was it before outsiders came in, like Guyanese military, U.S. military? How long was it before outside forces came in?
Well, after when night came, I went home, and about midnight I start hearing the airplanes. And so by morning when I get up, it was raining and raining. And so I went through the rain to the airport. And then I discovered that the entire airport was full with guys. All over the place there were soldiers, Guyana defense soldiers.
Yeah. So Guyanese soldiers were the first to arrive. Yeah.
Yeah. And by Monday, it was like a war zone.
What do you
helicopters
mean?
from America, from all these countries, all over the place. There was helicopters flying. It was wow. We used to be on the airport the whole day because it was like these helicopters and plane up and down. It was so busy.
Wow.
Yeah.
How long was it before you heard about what actually happened in Jonestown?
Well, this Sunday people start talking that all the people in Jonestown died, and we couldn't believe that all these people in Jonestown died until Monday. The soldiers and so start confirming, yes, all the people in Jonestown died.
Wow. Did you ever go back to Jonestown?
Yeah, I went back.
You did.
I went back like yeah, I went back like about 3 months or 4 months after we went back to Jonestown because people start going into Jonestown and fetching away things, whatever they could get.
Yeah.
People start, and after the money had found, and people start hearing about money in Jonestown with money, people start going into Jonestown and searching up to see if they could get whatever they could get. But
Yeah.
there was police in Jonestown.
Oh, so okay, so you went back 3 months later, but the police had kind of taken over the place.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
went back there.
Yeah. Now, one of the stories that you have, there were, I believe there were two brothers in Jonestown who were sent out of Jonestown with suitcases full of money. And I always wondered what happened to those suitcases full of money, and I think you have the answer to that question. What happened to the suitcases full of money?
Well, my stepfather was a railroad foreman, and so it was Monday morning. They had some work to do at this place called Green Hill. Green Hill is like 5 minutes walk to the entrance, 5 to 10 minutes walk to the entrance of Jonestown.
Okay.
So they, he said they went there that morning to work, and during the day, one of the workers stumbled on two suitcases.
Hmm.
Somebody who came out of Jonestown stashed this two briefcase of, of money
Hmm.
between the rocks, and they find it. And when they bust it up, then they break it open. It was U.S. currency, gold coins, and jewelry.
Wow.
And so they split up this money between the crew. It's like maybe about 20 persons, somewhere around there. Between 20 persons, they split it up. Everybody get a share. And so the leaders, the foreman, like my father told them not to tell anybody anything, not to go and spend money. Just keep silence with this money. And so after a time, these guys start spending money. And then people start getting to know that these guys are spending the $100 bill and keep the change, give me a bottle of rum, and keep the change. And so people start saying, where these guys getting this US from?
So hold on, let me just make sure I
And
understand. So like you have a guy who goes into a store, buys a bottle of rum that might cost what,
with
like
a hundred,
three or $4, something like that? Maybe. And he paid
yeah, maybe them time were like $5, $5 or $10 for a bottle of rum in them time, maybe.
so he
But
hands
they pay
over
with
yeah.
100 US bill and say keep the change.
Yeah. So people are obviously going to start asking questions about this.
Yes, so the
Yeah.
police was informed. The police gathered here about that. And so the police went and one of them
Yeah.
and asked them about the money. And then they start arresting all of them. The entire crew was arrested,
Yeah.
went to they put throw them in the lockup and question them and start asking them for the money. And even some of them start getting some blows. They start beating them to tell them about the money. So they start giving up the money. Some of them went home and bury all the money in one place, and they take the police there with them. Then dig out all the money. They give it to the police.
Yeah.
So eventually all the money was handed over to the police. What I spent was just a little bit.
Yeah. So that money
Yeah.
then went to the Guyanese police. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
These days, so we're talking now in 2020. So we're you know we're we're well past the 40th anniversary, right, of Jonestown. These
Yeah.
days in Guyana,
Yeah.
do people, like in Georgetown where you are right now, do people in Guyana,
Yeah.
do they think about Jonestown? Is Jonestown an important part of Guyanese history? Like, if somebody hears that you visited Jonestown, are they interested? What's the importance of People's Temple Jonestown in Guyana these days?
Well, I do these two videos and like just a few people will say, I didn't know you were there. They will get so interested and they want to know more. But just a few. But I don't know how much they will be interested, but it was very interested at that time. But I don't know after these amount of years have passed, if now how much they're interested. But for the people who belongs to Port Kaituma, that area, they actually live with that because they know we actually lived with these people before.
Yeah.
So we actually is when it's the time come around like that time November month, it just come back fresh to us what happened those days.
Wow. Do people in Port Kaituma think
Yeah.
that Jonestown should be what's the right word? That it should be remodeled so that people who want to come visit could go visit it. You know what I mean? I've heard some folks in Guyana say that that I mean Jonestown is a terrible place, right? But it's a historically important place. And I've heard some
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
say that Jonestown should be sort of rebuilt so that visitors could come and see it, and that would be a way of bringing income into Port Kaituma. What do you think about that?
Well, it's a good idea because what have happened there has bring history to our country. No, but there are people. I went to some places and people never heard about Guyana until Jonestown.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, people never know Guyana exists.
Or they think it's
You
in
know.
Africa or something.
Yeah. So, um, but there are people who normally, I know some Americans, they always go and visit Jonestown, but there's no actually uh, to do any maintenance there. They share bush. Right now there's bush there.
Yeah.
So if they want to do something, for the memorial of the what happened in Jonestown, they could be able to set up something, try to get back, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
a picture of what Jonestown really was, so people could go, and
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
actually feel well, go and see, well, this was Jonestown. This is how Jonestown was. This is
Yeah.
what actually, with the history of what really happened there. So it
Yeah.
would be good,
Yeah.
but I don't know how other people would look at it or they would think
Yeah.
about it.
So I think this is my last question. So one of the things that some people who, who survived, who had been in Jonestown but, survived that Saturday, November 18th. They
Yeah.
say that, hard as it is to believe because of what happened on November 18th, 1978, that Jonestown, there was a lot about it that was beautiful. There was a lot about it that was compelling. And it sounds like you're saying the same thing. You were there a week before the tragedy. Of course, you're little kids, so you're maybe not picking up on things. You're not asking questions. But your impression
Yeah.
was that this was a really beautiful, peaceful place.
Yeah, that is how it appears, when we go there. That is how it looks like. Everything was good.
Yeah. Have you ever,
Yeah.
uh, I guess just one more question. I mean, have you ever tried to work that out in your mind? Like, how is it that a place that seems so beautiful, just a week later, something like that could happen? I mean, it's a huge
Wow.
question. I'm just
Yeah.
wondering if you've
Yeah.
ever sort of thought about that in your own mind.
Yeah. Well, yeah, sometimes I think about it, but there's no question, there's no answer towards how come, what really, what
Yeah.
really was the root of all of this. Yeah. The only thing that happens that after thinking about what happened now, what happened then, and now start thinking about what congressman, and they went in, there was an investigation. That's all I understand. And because of the investigation, then maybe then Jim Jones decided, well, okay, my life would be in a mess now. Everything is going, you know, and he decided, well, that would be the solution.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
exposed, and so he decided, well, the solution is to just kill everybody, and that's it.
Yeah.
You know?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, Clifton James, I really appreciate you taking the time to share these memories with us. I mean, it's amazing to talk to someone who just lived there, right there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, thank you for making the videos that you did. And I was able to, someone else pointed them to me, and I found them, and then you and I have been in touch for a while, and it's taken a while for us to be able to connect this way. But I really appreciate you
Yeah.
taking the time. I really appreciate it.
Okay. No problem.
Yeah.
It's something that I wanted to talk to people a long time about it. You know, if
Yeah.
somebody will understand, well, okay, I was there, I saw what happened. You know, because this is something that it's always keep coming. It's like fresh every time you hear about Jonestown. When the time when November month comes, you already okay. This is the month all these things happen.
Yeah.
So it's something just keep going on all the time.
So for you, every November 18th, you kind of relive it.
Yeah, I just remembering everything, and even sometimes when people just ask about, "Oh, where you from?" and I said I'm from there, and they say, "Oh, so you know about what happened there?" I say, "Yes." So it just keep coming again, you know.
Wow. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Clifton. I really appreciate it.
Okay. You're welcome.